Electrical metallic tubing, commonly known as EMT, can be utilized as a protective sleeve for metal-clad cable, referred to as MC cable. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, permits this practice under specific conditions. Article 300.4 (1) states that electrical metallic tubing shall be permitted as an equipment grounding conductor. Furthermore, Article 330.10(3) allows metal-clad cable to be installed within raceways. Several requirements must be met to ensure safe and compliant installation. Firstly, the EMT must be adequately sized to accommodate the number and size of the cables being routed through it. Insufficient sizing can lead to overheating and potential damage to the cables. Secondly, the EMT must be securely attached to a support surface at intervals not exceeding 10 feet. This ensures the conduit remains stable and provides continuous protection to the cables within. Thirdly, a bushing must be installed at each end of the conduit to protect the MC cable insulation from sharp edges. Bushings prevent abrasion and potential short circuits. Fourthly, and critically, the EMT must be grounded according to Article 250.122 of the NEC, as it is being used as an equipment grounding conductor. Grounding is essential for safety, providing a path for fault current to return to the source and trip a circuit breaker or fuse. This practice of using EMT as a sleeve is not limited to MC cable. It is also permitted for other cables that are not normally installed in conduit, such as non-metallic sheet cable, known as NMB, armored cable, known as BX, and tray cable. When using EMT as a grounding conductor, it is imperative to follow the grounding requirements outlined in Article 250.122 of the NEC. Thusly, the EMT must be bonded to the appropriate grounding electrode system. This ensures a lower impedance path to ground. Secondly, it must be connected to the grounding terminals of all equipment it serves. This provides a continuous ground path throughout the electrical system. Thirdly, the EMT must be sized according to Table 250.122 in the NEC. This table provides the minimum size of the grounding conductor based on the rating of the overcurrent protective device in the circuit. Utilizing EMT as a sleeve for MC cable provides several advantages. Firstly, it provides enhanced protection from physical damage. The rigid metal conduit safeguards the cable from impacts, abrasion, and other potential hazards. Secondly, it offers EMI and RFI shielding. The metal conduit acts as a barrier, reducing electromagnetic interference and radio frequency interference that can disrupt sensitive electronic equipment. Thirdly, it can improve aesthetics. The conduit can be painted or concealed, providing a neater and more professional appearance. When selecting EMT for use as a sleeve, it is crucial to choose the appropriate size. The internal diameter of the conduit must be large enough to accommodate the cable or cables being run through it, while also allowing for easy installation and removal. Refer to the NEC Chapter 9 for conduit fill requirements. Overfilling a conduit can damage the cables and make it difficult to pull them through. In addition to proper sizing, it is essential to use the correct type of fittings and connectors. These fittings must be compatible with the EMT and provide a secure and watertight connection. Improperly installed fittings can compromise the integrity of the conduit system and create a potential safety hazard. When grounding the EMT, it is important to use approved grounding methods. This may involve using grounding bushings, grounding lock nuts, or other listed grounding devices. The grounding connection must be secure and provide a low impedance path to ground. Before beginning any electrical work, it is essential to consult the NEC and any applicable local codes. These codes provide detailed requirements for electrical installations and are designed to ensure safety. Always follow the manufacturer's instructions for installing EMT cables and fittings. These instructions provide specific guidance on proper installation techniques and can help prevent errors. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician. The electrical work can be dangerous, and it is important to have the necessary skills and knowledge to perform the work safely. Always to energize the circuit before working on any electrical equipment. This can be done by turning off the circuit breaker or removing the fuse that supplies power to the circuit. Use a voltage tester to verify that the circuit is de-energized before beginning work. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses and gloves, when working with electricity. This will help protect you from potential hazards such as electric shock and arc flash. Inspect all electrical equipment for damage before using it. Do not use any equipment that is damaged or appears to be unsafe. Keep your work area clean and free of clutter. This will help prevent accidents and make it easier to work. Be aware of your surroundings and take precautions to avoid potential hazards. This is particularly important when working in confined spaces or near other electrical equipment. If you are unsure about any aspect of the electrical work, ask for help from a qualified electrician. It is always better to be safe than sorry. By following these guidelines, you can safely and effectively use EMT Conduit as a protective sleeve for MC cable. Remember to always consult the NEC and any applicable local codes before beginning any electrical work. Pay close attention to the requirements for sizing, support, bushings, and grounding. By adhering to these requirements, you can ensure a safe and compliant installation. The NEC is a comprehensive set of standards that governs the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment. It is updated every 3 years to reflect changes in technology and best practices. It is important to stay up to date with the latest version of the NEC to ensure that your electrical installations are compliant. Local codes may also have additional requirements that are not covered in the NEC. It is important to check with your local building department to determine if there are any additional requirements that apply to your electrical installation. The use of EMT as a sleeve for MC cable is a common practice in the electrical industry. It is a cost-effective way to provide additional protection to cables and improve the aesthetics of an electrical installation. However, it is important to follow the NEC and any applicable local codes to ensure that the installation is safe and compliant. When installing EMT, it is important to use the correct tools. These tools include a conduit bender, a conduit cutter, and a reamer. A conduit bender is used to bend EMT to the desired angle. A conduit cutter is used to cut EMT to the desired length. A reamer is used to remove any burrs from the cut end of the EMT. When installing cables in EMT, it is important to use a cable puller. A cable puller is a tool that is used to pull cables through conduit. It is important to use a cable puller that is sized appropriately for the size of the cable being pulled. When grounding EMT, it is important to use a grounding bushing or a grounding lock nut. A grounding bushing is a fitting that is installed on the end of the EMT and is used to connect the EMT to the grounding system. A grounding lock nut is a lock nut that has a grounding lug attached to it. It is used to connect the EMT to the grounding system. When selecting EMT, it is important to choose the correct size and type of EMT. EMT is available in a variety of sizes and types. The size of the EMT should be determined by the number and size of the cables being installed in the EMT. The type of EMT should be determined by the environment in which the EMT will be installed. For example, if the EMT will be installed in a wet location, it should be made of galvanized steel or aluminum. When installing EMT, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions. The manufacturer's instructions will provide detailed information on how to install the EMT correctly. By following the manufacturer's instructions, you can ensure that the EMT is installed safely and correctly. The electrical installation should be inspected by a qualified electrical inspector. The electrical inspector will inspect the installation to ensure that it meets the requirements of the NEC and any applicable local codes. If the installation does not meet the requirements, the electrical inspector will issue a correction notice. The correction notice will list the items that need to be corrected. Once the corrections have been made, the electrical inspector will re-inspect the installation. If the installation meets the requirements, the electrical inspector will issue a certificate of compliance. The certificate of compliance is proof that the electrical installation is safe and compliant. Using EMT as a protective sleeve offers multiple benefits.